Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how easy it is to make beef bone broth from raw beef bones, which I've just picked up from the local butcher, and she also gave me this beautiful chicken carcass which I've just pulled all the inside bits out of. Little known fact, if you've never cooked beef bones before, putting them in a stock pot, they don't smell great. They might actually put you off ever wanting to make beef bone broth again. To avoid that issue, by roasting them first, you can make them smell a whole lot nicer. And I just season my chicken carcass. Now my butcher gave these to me for free because I buy all my meat from the same place, and she obviously thinks I deserve some freebies. If you have to pay for them, you shouldn't have to pay very much. A chicken carcass like this, last time I checked, on Riverford Organic, was selling 2 carcasses for less than a £5, and beef bones something similar. There they are. I'm just going to pop those in the oven for about 45 minutes till they're getting nice and crispy. That will start to render the fat down, and we're going to come back when they're done. So I can smell those bones are now smelling like delicious roast meat rather than raw beef. I'm going to take them out of the oven, stand back, I always forget, and then my glasses steam up. Right, there we go. Very nicely cooked, roasted. Some chicken in there cooking for Mikey the dog's tea. I've roasted my bones. Step 2 is I'm going to pop these straight into my stock pot. There's my chicken carcass, and ow, my beef bones, ow, as one would expect, having just come out of the oven. There we go. Right, other ingredients. I'm just going to add some onion. The wonderful thing about cooking meat bones for stock or broth is that the long slow cooking time is going to extract all the vitamins and minerals out of those bones, all the gelatin out, so that when the stock is cold it will set like a jelly. That's where gelatin comes from, is from bones, and mainly beef bones. Pull out all that delicious, and because I'm going to do it in a pressure cooker, it's not going to take me very long. Now I suggest, if you don't have a pressure cooker and it's not something that you're planning on buying anytime soon, you can make your stock in a regular saucepan with a well-fitting lid, or you can use your slow cooker if you have one of those, again with a well-fitting lid. You just have to increase the cooking time, because what the pressure cooker does is speeds everything up to much quicker, because you're cooking under high pressure. And so under normal circumstances, if you're making your stock or your beef bone broth or your any bone broth, if you're making it in a regular pan, you really want to be cooking it for up to 24 hours. You don't have to do it for that long, but you'll just be extracting far more of the flavour. 2 onions have gone into there. I'm just going to put some garlic in as well. In the pressure cooker, by comparison, it literally takes under 2 hours. But 2 hours seems to be a pretty good amount of time. That's why adding the other things into the pot, I don't have to worry too much about chopping up the garlic, because it's just going to be cooked so thoroughly in there that everything's going to be, every ounce of flavour is going to be extracted from those bones and from the vegetables. And because I follow a low oxalate diet, I don't bother with putting, I used to put carrots in stock. I could put some celery in, but I don't have any today. So this one is a very simple one. It's just going to have some herbs and some garlic and onion. Just bought some new mustard today. I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. I'm going to fill the pot with, I'm going to pour water over the bones until the bones are submerged. Filtered water. I am actually getting a water filter, which I'm going to be able to fit onto my kitchen tap, fit under the sink, but I haven't got it yet. It's coming back with me after Christmas. I live in Andorra. I'm about to travel to the UK for Christmas. This is cayenne pepper. I like some hot kick with my bone broth. I put that in as well. Some black pepper. Actually, no, sorry, it's white pepper. Some white pepper. Black peppercorns are much higher in oxalates than white pepper. And sea salt. And right, so, oh, and the other thing, now that the pan has cooled down, is there's lots of delicious fat that came off those bones. So I'm just going to pour that into there as well, and all the juicy bits off the bottom of the tin, because as we know, beef tallow is like nectar from the gods. It's so good for you, it's so delicious, it's such a rich flavour that I definitely want all of that in there as well. I'm going to turn that right up to high. Also some thyme, love thyme. You can pick thyme on the mountains here. It grows wild, so when I see it I pick it and bring it home and dry it and use it in a lot of cooking, and some coriander. I'm going to top that up with water so the bones are submerged, and I'm going to put that onto high heat, bring it up to the boil. When it starts to hiss, I'll turn it down, and then I'll cook it for just about 2 hours, as I said. One more ingredient, which is always good to add to stock, which just draws more of the goodness out from the bones, is our old friend apple cider vinegar. I'm going to put a couple of good tablespoons of that into there. The lid's going to go on. You may have an instant pot. You're so lucky if you do. I want an instant pot. It's on my Christmas list. But meanwhile, this one's just a manual. It's just, it literally is just a big cooking pot, and it's a great pot as well because it's got a really thick base to it. It's stainless steel, and I use it for cooking all sorts of stuff, even when I'm not using it as a pressure cooker. And it has this little valve on top that will start to spin round. As the pressure builds up, the steam makes this spin round, and it makes a lot of noise, and at that point I will turn it down, and then I'll put the timer on it for a couple of hours. Just to show you, you see the little spinning round valve? That means it's now boiling. That means I can turn the temperature right down to simmer. Hopefully you can hear me above all that noise. It's now boiling. It's now reached pressure, and I've turned it down. In a minute it will stop making all that racket until my fantastic, delicious beef bone broth is ready to sample. And now I just have to wait 2 hours for that to do its thing and be cooked. And like I said, if you're using a regular pot, just a stove top pot with a lid on it, make sure the lid's well fitting, because you don't want all the steam to escape and for your broth to have all evaporated by the time your cooking time is finished. You have to check it regularly and top up the water as necessary. It doesn't matter if you do that. It doesn't matter if you make an enormous pot of stock and then at the end you just reduce it down by half, boil it until it reduces until you've got the amount you want, because by boiling it and reducing it, you're just making it more concentrated. So if you're making stock to put in the freezer, for example, you don't need to freeze a great big bucket of it when you can reduce it down and freeze half the quantity, take up less room in your freezer. The main ingredient is water, and if you boil that water, it's going to reduce. It'll take up less room when you're storing it, whether that's in your fridge or your freezer. You can always add water back to it if the flavour's stronger than you wanted at the other end. The stock has now cooked for 2 hours in the pressure cooker. There we go. What we have now is a delicious fatty meat stock, which is just filled with goodness. That is just amazing nutrition and so tasty, and such a great base for if you don't just want to drink it as beef stock. It's a brilliant base for all of your soups, all of your gravies, all of your stews. First thing first, we need to drain it. The longer you boil it for, the cleaner the bones are going to become. There's the third one. I'm going to pour that through my colander. And as I mentioned earlier, what you can now do with this meat stock is you can reduce it. You can reduce the quantity and concentrate it down by boiling it further. So you can simply take that beautiful stock, and if you want to reduce it, look at that. If you want to, you can put it back into the pan, leave the lid off, boil it rapidly for 20 or 30 minutes, and that quantity will reduce, and then I don't have to put quite so much in the freezer, since that's the plan for this stock. There you have beautiful golden, collagen rich, mineral rich, grass-fed Andorran beef stock from Andorran cows who live out on the mountains. And final step is to do a taste test. You've got to be very careful, it's very hot. That noise is the dog having a drink. Excellent, it's really good, really delicious. That's all there is to it. How easy was that? You take bones that are free from the butcher, if you're as lucky as I am and your butcher donates free bones to you, otherwise they're very inexpensive. Roast them first, put them in the pot, season it, add some herbs, cover it in cold water, onion and garlic. You can add vegetables as well if you choose. You can add carrots, root vegetables go particularly well. Boil it in a standard pot for around 24 hours. I added some vinegar as well, which will help draw the minerals out of the bones. Or in a pressure cooker I did this for 2 hours. I think I could probably have gone for 3, because whilst those bones look pretty clean, there's still some jelly on them. I know that the dog will enjoy that later. And that's all there is to it. And then once that's cool, it become like jelly, and then I can either pop it in the freezer. I freeze everything in glass these days, not plastic, or just keep it in the fridge and use it up over the next few days. Thank you for watching. I hope that's been useful. Seeing how to make raw beef bones, turn them into beautiful golden beef stock or bone broth. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.